These are for those of you looking for a half door on your JK so that you have better visibility when you're on the trail, or just more of an open feeling while you're driving down the road without having to purchase a steel half door. Today we're going to talk through the installation of these doors, which is a very simple 1 out of 3 wrench install. The first time you install these, putting the mirrors in place might take you a little bit longer than every time after that, but from there it's really just a matter of popping the doors on and off very simply, just like you would a factory door, and we'll talk more about that installation in just a second. The benefit to something like this over a steel door is 1, it's going to be significantly lighter than a steel door. 2, it has built-in storage on the inside of the door, which is a really nice feature. And 3, this is an impact-resistant plastic, so if you are doing some hardcore wheeling, you're getting in some off-camera situations, you might catch a rock to the door. This may get a little bit of damage on it, but you're not going to dent and break a much more expensive and painted metal door. So that's where these really fall into place in my opinion. Now, these are going to be more expensive than a tube door, less expensive than a factory steel door, so they fall right in the middle there. But again, they do have some features that make them worth the money if you have the budget for them. As far as construction goes, like I said before, these are a lightweight molded thermoplastic material that it has been UV treated, so these aren't going to fade in the sun over time. They're going to stay nice and black. These have an OEM style hinge, which makes the install very simple. They're just going to drop right into the hinge that's on the tub of your Jeep already. Of course, they have a built-in latching mechanism that's also lockable, and you might be saying, why do I need a lock? These half doors don't have uppers. You're going to be able to very easily reach or even climb over top if you really wanted to get in my Jeep. Well, the lock is really to keep the door on the Jeep. With something this lightweight, it's very easy to just open the door and lift them off. Even if you were to attach the nuts on the door hinges, those can be very easily removed. So the lock makes it much more difficult for someone to walk away with your doors. So that's the construction itself. These also have some weather stripping on the inside of them, which make them seal up very nice and tight. You're not going to get any whistling from wind. You're not going to get any water in between the door and the tub. They're going to seal very well. And like I said before, on the inside of this door, you do have a good bit of storage, which is something you're not going to get with a factory door. Now, these are going to be less expensive than steel, but they're also a very expensive door, and there are a couple of areas in the mold where I'd like to see a little bit more fit and finish. Now, this is really just around the latching mechanism here. It's not something you're going to see when the door is closed, but for my money, I'd like to see every detail taken care of, and that's one area where these ones lack just a little bit. But again, this is a unique piece. It's still, I think, a pretty fair price for all of the quality and the features that you're getting. Just one area I wanted to point out. So to get these installed, you are going to have to remove your factory doors first, and that process is pretty much just unplugging the wiring harness to the door, removing the limiting strap, and then removing the retention nuts if you still have them in place before lifting the door off of the hinges. Now, when you have that limiting strap removed, be very careful up front. That door can hyperextend, and if it does, the mirror will ding the cowl. That's a very common dimple for a lot of JKs to have, so be very careful. The second you release that limiting strap, make sure you keep a hand on the door. Don't let it swing all the way open. Once you have your door removed, you can remove your factory mirror, go ahead and install it on your new half door, set the half doors on the factory hinges, attach the limiting strap that they come with. Again, same issue comes into play there, so use that limiting strap right away. If you want to put the factory retention nuts back on these hinges, you can do that. If you're going to be switching doors back and forth a lot, you don't need to. And then you just close the door, get in the Jeep, and go. Very simple install. It's just like taking your factory doors on and off, which again is very, very easy. So these are going to run you right around $700 for a pair, $1,400 if you have a 4-door JK and you're looking for a full set. So these are certainly not an inexpensive option. If you're looking for something less expensive, you can get a tube door or a tube door with a door skin on it, which is going to give you a similar feel to this, not exactly the same, but be a lot less expensive. This is going to be for those of you that aren't looking to spend the money on a steel door, that want an impact-resistant plastic door, lightweight, that has storage built into it, and has the budget for these. Again, these aren't going to be for everyone because they are a little bit expensive, but I think they do have some nice features that make them worth the cost. So that's my review of the Strike Force Zebra half doors fitting all 2007 and up JKs that you can find right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.